So I recently posted a reaction video to Grant Cardone, who said that if he had $5,000 left to his name, he would use it to buy a $100,000 Quadplex, and then he would rent the other 3 units out, and that he was able to only put 5% down. Now, the Quadplex is a fantasy, but the program actually is real. So what I wanted to do is find something that is a real house as well to apply this to, just to show you how it works. Now, I'm in Central Florida, so this is the property that I picked, which is actually a real property that's on the market. It is a Quadplex. Now, the price is much higher than Grant Cardone's fantasy $100,000 property, but it is also something that is real, which Grant's is not. Now, that would require a much larger down payment of $25,000, and keep in mind, this is your down payment. This is not the total cost associated with closing. This program uses FHA, and when you use FHA, it has a 1.75% of the loan amount automatically applied to your closing costs. That, combined with other closing costs for just buying a home in general, is going to probably run you another $15,000 on top of what you're seeing here. That all said, your PD, principals, interest, taxes, and insurance, are going to be $3,800. That includes your private mortgage insurance, which is something you have to have with if you're putting less than 20% down. Now what they've put here is the income. So they've put on the listing that the income is about $1,300 per unit. Usually they're a little generous on listings if it's not already rented out because they're trying to sell the property, but we'll take it at face value. So you'll notice that it is a Quadplex, but we've only multiplied it by 3. Well, that's because you legally have to live in one of the units, so you can only actually be collecting rent from 3. Well, actually, that still looks pretty good. We're at $3,900 in income, $3,800 in our mortgage. Well, so it looks great, but unfortunately for this type of program, it has to pass what's called a self-sufficiency test. Now that has you multiply, or you can only use 75% of your rental income. Unfortunately, once we were close here by $100, so you can tell that the self-sufficiency test is not going to hold water. So now, once we multiply it by this, we are actually only at 2925. Sorry about the writing there at this angle, but either way, we're at 2925. That is nowhere close to the $3,800 that we need. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, hang on, so what would I need to actually make this work? Well, unfortunately, it's gonna be something to the tune of $1,700 per unit. Problem with this is that if somebody was renting it out for $1,300, or that was the market rent, you are going to have a very tough time trying to find somebody to rent it out for $400 more a month. But let's just show you how the maths. And so we multiply by 3, because we have 3 units, $5,100 per month, okay? Now we have to do the self-sufficiency test. So we have 75%. All right, and this will get a green number because it's actually a good one. All right, and so that'll be 3825. All right, and that passes our self-sufficiency test. Now the problem with that is that if you could rent this property out for $1,700 per unit, an investor would come and immediately scoop it up, and on our next video I'll show you why these are so hard to find.